everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be predicting all the fights on UFC 314. So further ado, we're just going to get straight into it. Starting off with the first fight of the card, we have Nora Cannoli versus Hayley Cowan. To be honest, this does feel like a weak start of the card because I thought the motto was we want to entertain the crowd from start to finish. And well, not the best entertaining fight to start with. But yeah, Nora Cannoli, she's pretty decent. She has a pretty decent record of 8-2. Her last fight was against Jacqueline Cavalcanti, which she did lose by a split decision, which is just so bad for her. And Hayley Cowan has the record of 7-3 with her last fight of Jamie Lynn Horth and lost to a unanimous decision. And well, that fight was on the 29th of April 2023. That was her most recent fight, and Nora's last fight was 6 months ago. So inactivity really plays in here for this fight, but for who I think will win, I have Nora Cannoli by decision, just because of the inactivity that Hayley Cowan has. Yeah, that's really the only reason why I'm going with Nora Cannoli. But I mean, Hayley Cowan, she's all right, but Nora Cannoli is a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, in the last 5, Nora Cannoli has 4-1, and for Hayley Cowan, it's 3-2. So you kind of see the difference. Next fight on the card we have is Teresa Gore versus Marcio Tulio. This for me sounds like a fun fight. Both these guys are hungry for a win. Teresa Gore with a 5-2 record, and Mauricio Tulio with a 13-1 record. Teresa Gore did have his most recent fight 5 months ago against Antonio Trulli, and absolutely battered him and finished him in a guillotine in the first round. Which, I mean, fair enough, mate. Yeah, fair enough, mate. But then before that, his other fight was on the 29th of October 2022 against Josh Fremd, and well, yeah, he did beat him by guillotine in the second. And then before that, he had a fight against Cody Brundage, and well, he did lose that in the first round by a TKO. Now from Mauricio Tulli, he's 13-1 with a 13-1 record, a great record. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. His most recent fight was 3 months ago against Ior Potier, which was a great performance from Marcio. Then before that, he had a fight against Matheus Duclos, and finished him in the second round, and that was on the Contender Series. Then on the regional scene, fought a guy called Carlos Alberto Silva, and well, finished him in the first round. Just from what I see, Marco has only gotten 3 decision wins in his career. So just basically from that, I'm picking Marcio Tulli by TKO in the second round. I think Teresa Gore, just from inactivity, and just because I think Marcio will beat him because of his finishing potential. I don't see Teresa submitting him here because of his submission potential. I don't think he has it against Marcio. But yeah, I do have Marcio Tulli just because of his finishing rate, and well, he's only gone with 3 decisions in his career, and he's had 14 fights, so that's pretty impressive. Next fight on the card we have is Sam Derej versus Mitch Raposo. Another fun fight on this card. Very surprising that Mitch Raposo is the underdog. I would have said that Chinese guy, Simadaji. But anyway, Simadaji is 16-7. His most recent fight, he did lose to Charles Johnson with a decision back in October 2024. Before then, he fought Tim Elliott and well lost in the first round by an arm triangle. Before then, he fought Matt Schnell and well lost with a triangle choke in the second round. He really only fights once every year, and well, that just doesn't work in his favour. Mitch Raposo is 9-2. His most recent fight was against Andre Lima, and well, yeah, he did lose by a split decision, but it's Andre Lima, very good fighter. And then he fought Justin Valentin, and he won by a TKO in the 4th round, and that was on the Cage Titans, I'm pretty sure. And well, he won because it was like a championship, so he won a championship, so fair enough. And so that was back in 2024. Back in 2024, August 2024, he was supposed to fight Jack Duffy on the Contender Series, but that fight got cancelled. And now this is his second time to get good in the UFC. So yeah, With who I think's going to win, I have Samadaji by decision just because of a fight with Mitch and Lima. It just really is putting me off Mitch Raposo just because he has already had an opportunity but then screwed it. Now he's having a second opportunity, so it's not looking the best for him. And I do think he will fumble the bag, and I do have Samadaji winning this fight by... Yes, so I do have Samadaji by a decision. Now, next on the card we have is Sadikas Dumas versus Mikhail Olashaychik. I really enjoy this type of fighter. Sadikas Dumas, he's a 10-2, really good record for him. His last fight was against Dennis Tulin, and he did win by a decision. That was back in August 2024. Before then, he fought Nursultan Rizaboev and lost in the first round by a TKO. Before then, he fought Abu Azata, and he did win by decision. He was supposed to fight Zach Reese on the Makachev vs. Moicano card, but Dumas was injured, so he couldn't fight. So he's back in the octagon after 7 months, which isn't that bad. Then Michael Olashaychik, he's 19-9. His last fight was against Shara Magomedov and lost by a decision. Before then, he fought Kevin Holland and lost by an armbar in the first round. Before then, he fought Michael Pereira and, lost by a rear naked choke in the first round. So for who I think's going to win, I know I keep on saying that Mikhail Olashaychik keeps on losing, but I do think he's going to win here by a TKO in the second round, just because he's been with the better opponents than Dumas. And while Dumas just isn't that great of a fighter, he is decent, don't get me wrong. But Michael Olashaychik, he's been with, like I said, Shara, Kevin, Mikhail. There's a few others that he's been with, but I do think he has that upper hand with those harder opponents than Sadikas. And yeah, so I do have Mikhail Olashaychik by a TKO in the second round. Next fight on the card we have is Darren Elkins versus Juliana Erosa. If Juliana Erosa has fraud-checked Charles Jourdain, Sean Woodson, Christian Rodriguez, I know he got head kicked by Alex Casares, but this man has ruined many prospects in this time. It's bizarre how many good prospects Juliana Erosa beats to then fight shit opponents and make an absolute scrap out of it. Like what he did with Steve Peterson, like beating all of the good prospects to losing to Darren Elkins. I think that's the thing. He beats all the good prospects. He fights Darren Elkins. Surprisingly, Darren Elkins is on a 2-fight winning streak in 2025. Crazy. He beat TJ Brown and Daniel Pineda. Fair enough. But I do have Julian Erosa here. And by a TKO in the first round. I think Darren, he's on a 2-fight winning streak, but he ain't that good, to be completely honest with you. So give me Julian Erosa by TKO in the first round. Next fight on the card we have is Jim fucking Miller versus Chase Hooper. I'm going to go with Chase Hooper. The reason is, I think Jim Miller has finally hit the wall. He is not getting any better and is starting to trickle away. I think that the Bobby Green fight took a massive toll on him in terms of the amount of damage he took. Bobby Green is really good at doing that, beating up other old vets. Either way, I just don't think Jim Miller has got this one. After I saw Chase Hooper take down Vishlav Borshev in the first round, I was truly shocked by that performance. To be honest, I really didn't expect a future for Chase Hooper, but Chase does have some technical skills, and his submission ability is crazy. I do think that Chase takes this fight to the ground. I do think he takes it to the ground. Jim Miller will not be that good at all on the ground compared to Chase Hooper's ground game. And so I do have Chase Hooper here by submission. Let's go round 1 or round 2. Round 1. I do have Chase Hooper by submission in the first round. But I'd love Jim Miller to win. I just think he's getting way worse as time goes on. Every fight. Even though he did win his last fight, really well done for that. I just think Chase Hooper, he's more younger. He's an up-and-comer. He's amazing at what he does. I do have Chase Hooper by a submission in the first round. Next fight on the card we have is Yan Xiaonan versus Verna Jandiroba. Now, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of women's fights, but damn, this is actually pretty an interesting women's fight, to be honest. It's probably it will go to a boring decision, but yeah, it's a fun women's fight. Anyway, I'm going to go with Verna Jandiroba. Yan Xiaonan beat Tabitha Ritchie recently. Before that, she lost to Zhang Weili. She got dominated by Zhang Weili, but she did have some moments, to be fair. More than can be said about Tatiana Suarez. But Verna Jandiroba has way better grappling than Yan Xiaonan. Jandiroba is good at grappling, annoying as it is. I do think that she'll be a title contender up next against Zhang Weili, to be honest. I really don't like that reality. I do think Zhang will beat Jandiroba. Verna Jandiroba is probably going to win. She will probably out-grapple Yan Xiaonan. She is no slouch on the feet either. I do think Yan Xiaonan is a little sharper on the feet. But my final pick, I do think Verna Jandiroba will win by decision just because of her ground game. This fight will probably be on the ground most of the time. So I do think Verna Jandiroba will win by a decision just because of the ground game. And yeah. But yeah, overall, I'm looking forward to this fight. This sounds pretty fun, to be honest. Next fight on the card we have is Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. I watched back the fight with Dan Ige and Lerone Murphy, and fuck me, Dan looked so shit in that fight. I think Sean Woodson has really improved. And for me, he is really good. He beat Jourdain, and it was these things where I know Dan Ige can catch people, but the thing is, Woodson doesn't even get caught anymore. Where is the hope is in beating this guy? He's too big, too rangy, he's peppering him with shots. Yeah, I just think Dan Ige, his fight with Diego Lopez, he looked bad in the first 2 rounds, then looked alright in the third then looked good in the third. But against Lerone Murphy, he just wasn't letting his hands go. Maybe because he broke his rib or torn his shoulder. Yeah, so I do think Woodson will be out here loose, slicking his shots out, mixing it up. I do think he will win by decision in this fight. So my final pick, I have Sean Woodson by a decision. Next fight on the card we have is Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. Another fun fight on this card, to be honest. Really looking forward to this. I think Nikita Krylov is one of the most underrated UFC fighters on the roster. And I think he beats Dominic Reyes. I think he puts away Dominic Reyes in the first round. And, well, he's a wild man. He just goes out there swinging and throwing it. Reyes is really good. He's very technical. Good shots off of the back foot. He can find openings here and there. He did get knocked out by Ryan Spann, but it's okay. I guess even though it's not, it's fucking embarrassing. I just think Nikita Krylov will find a way to TKO Dominic Reyes. I really don't know how he will do it. He probably doesn't even know how to do it himself. But his performance against Volkan Ozdemir, he absolutely beat the shit out of him. Way better than what Ulberg did. He even had a really close fight with Magomed Ankalaev, where he went toe-to-toe with Ankalaev, shooting takedowns, mixing it up on the feet, a 29-28 against Ankalaev. Yeah, I just think Nikita Krylov is really underrated for the UFC. And I think he's a wild man, he's really good, and I think Nikita Krylov will win this fight and beat Dominic Reyes by a TKO. Did I say first round? No, round 2, sorry. He's beating him in the second round. Next fight on the card we have is Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. I'm going to go with Yair Rodriguez here. Pitbull is good. I just think his days are done. In Pitbull's last fight, he was doing alright. He did get that TKO in the third round. But seriously, I just think Patricio Pitbull's best days are gone. There was a time where he was beating Adam Boricus, who beat Aaron Pico, who is now in the UFC fighting Movsar Evloev. And Pitbull did beat Michael Chandler by KO in the first round, but that was when he was primed up. I just think Yair Rodriguez will throw a front kick and hurt Pitbull early. And yeah, I just think, Yair Rodriguez will be a little bit too much for Patricio Pitbull. So yeah, I do have Yair Rodriguez. I think it's going to be looking sharp, being focused, being active in the first 2 rounds. Maybe Pitbull gets a third, but I do think Yair will get the first 2. And I don't think it will be a 29-28 decision for Yair Rodriguez. Next fight on the card we have is Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. The moment we have all been waiting for. The fight of the card. Yeah, straight off the bat, Bryce Mitchell's ground game is better than Gene Silver's. That, for me, is very obvious. I think the thing that will fuck Bryce Mitchell over is the stand-up game, because that's where Gene Silver shines. And, well, yeah, I think this is going to be a fucking blast of a fight, and I cannot wait. It's probably my favourite fight off this card, to be honest. And, yeah, Gene Silver back after a month off, after he beat Bobby Green. An amazing knockout, by the way. And, yeah, I think Gene Silver, Bryce Mitchell, he's back after 4 months. His last fight was against Cron Gracie, I think it was. And that was back in December. Was it December on the Pantoja versus Asakura card? I'm pretty sure it was on that card. And, yeah, I think Gene Silver will win here by a KO in the second round. But if Bryce Mitchell wins, well, it will be by decision just because of the ground game. But I do have Gene Silver here by a KO in the second round. I just think I think he just keeps on improving. And Bryce Mitchell, I would love you to win, just because I'm a big Bryce Mitchell fan. Even though it's kind of controversial at the moment, I don't really care. Yeah, I think Gene Silver will probably knock him out in the second round. Next fight on the card, we have Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett for the co-main event, a 5-round co-main event. And with who I think is going to win, I got Paddy Pimblett getting this one done by TKO. I think he might actually catch Chandler. I think the problem with this fight is Chandler is good, and he is always in these fights. And I know the last Charles Oliveira performance probably is the reason why a lot of people will go with Chandler here. And he's always dangerous. He's got knockout power. There is an idea for Michael Chandler, and then there is a reality where Chandler can take your head off with one punch. He can, but he hasn't done it since Dan Hooker. Surely he front-kicked Tony Ferguson in the face and knocked him out. Very impressive. I just think Chandler does the same shit every single fight. And, I mean, Paddy Pimblett had an impressive win over Bobby Green, and before then fought Tony Ferguson, another good win. And then the Jared Gordon fight, which, yeah, I do think Jared Gordon did win that. I'm sorry. And anyway, with who I think is going to win, I do have Paddy Pimblett here by TKO in the second round. This is going to be such a blast of a fight. I cannot wait for it. I wouldn't be shocked if Michael Chandler went out and just knocked him out. I wouldn't be surprised. But, I mean, his last 5 fights, he's 1-4, and Paddy Pimblett's in his last 5 fights, he's 5-0. So, there's a little bit of a difference. And, yeah. So, I do have Paddy Pimblett here winning. And, yeah. Looking forward to this fight overall. Really excited. Now for the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez for the vacant featherweight championship. Fuck, this one hurts me, to be honest. Ugh. I'm gonna go with Diego Lopez by TKO. I think he's really, really good. And there were moments in the Brian Ortega fight where I was worried. But can I say the same against Volk? And Lopez had the FE1 against Ige, where the third round came around and it was like, ugh, that doesn't look good. And if we do the championship rounds, Volkanovski has an advantage. I'll give him that. If we go to 4 and 5, round 4 and 5, Volkanovski has the advantage, 100%. He has the advantage over that. But I think he's done. And it's sad. I really like Volk. I really want him to win. And I want him to have that moment where we get a feel-good moment in the sport again. We don't get them anymore. Holloway loses to Topuria. Volk gets slipped by Ilya. Bilal wins over Edwards. We just don't get those feel-good moments anymore. I would want it. But I think Lopez is going to just put him away in the first round. It sucks because like Volk's mentality early in his career, when he was on the come-up, was he was not going to lose. He's not going to lose. He is never going to lose. That was his mentality. He never puts lose in his head. And it sucks for Volk, because he's been knocked down his last 2 fights and had a year layoff. It really sucks, because I would love Volk to win this so bad, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. Diego Lopez is more active. He's dominating these people. Beat Brian Ortega in, like, a very good fight. a lot of people were doubting him, to be honest, but I went with Diego Lopez, to be honest. But it just sucks, because, like, I love Volkanovski, but I just think his time's up. Do I think he might move up to lightweight? I'm not sure. I don't know where things are going to go after this fight for him in his career. But if he does get knocked out, TKO'd early in this fight, I would hang up the gloves. It sucks to say, but you can't do it to yourself. Like, you can't just keep on getting knocked out, because that'll be his third time getting knocked out. And in his last 3 fights. It sucks, because like I said a million times, I'm a big Volkanovski fan. I would love that feel-good moment of Volkanovski winning. But I just don't see it. I was going for Volkanovski when this fight was announced. But every day I was thinking about it, I'm like, Diego Lopez, though. You see them good knockouts he's done. You see the fight against Brian Ortega that he did. Great fight. Great win. And it sucks to say, but yeah, I'm going to go with Diego Lopez here by a TKO in the first round. I would love Volk to win here. If it goes championship rounds, round 4 and 5, I do think Volkanovski will probably have the better chance of winning. But I do think Diego Lopez will knock him out, TKO him in the first round, unfortunately, which sucks because I really want him to win, but it's not going to happen, and it fucking sucks. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my predictions of all UFC 314 fights. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. There'll be a huge help. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And good luck to the fighters. I hope you put on a good show, even though you're not gonna fucking watch this shit. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this card. This is gonna be a stacked card in Miami. Everyone loves a good Miami card. Last year we had Sean versus Vera. Great co-main of Poirier versus St. Denis. So we're getting that card. We're not getting that card, but we're getting a good card. And yeah, I hope you stay tuned for more UFC content coming at a later date. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.